Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
Okay, so we'll do a kind of full loosening from yesterday's workshop. Hopefully it wasn't too kind of strenuous, but we'll do a kind of full loosening and stretching. Okay, coming to side. Okay, bringing in a little bit of a rotation towards the front. Just let the arms swing down. And just to work a little bit towards the back. Not too much. Just start to kind of circle away from the spine. That's it. Word. Okay, and then just drop the body down, drop the upper body down towards the ground, and just start with just letting the arms drop, just a little bit like you're kind of bouncing the hands up and down. So it'll feel like the hands kind of touch the ground and come up, but just see if you can do it by loosening the upper body and kind of make the movement from the pelvis. Just feel, keep the knees nice and relaxed with a kind of sense of bounce, and just let the weight drop. And each time just feel more and more the kind of pull of gravity through the whole spine, all the way through the shoulders into the fingertips. Okay, and just start to kind of pull like you're kind of swinging the arms backwards and forwards, but again just trying to initiate the movement from the hips. And just so. And as much as you can in this one, as you kind of feel the arms swing through the legs, try and really kind of release the hips so that the hips and then the body come basically towards the legs, quite close. Okay, and then just start to work with a circling of the arms. Again, just try and really feel that the movement is grounded in the feet and initiated from the hips. Just let the shoulders open. And see if you can work the other way. So just circling the other direction. That's it. Good. And then last one, just swing the arms side to side. So let the arms open to the sides and let them just kind of fold across the front of the body. And now start to bring the body up to a vertical, each time with the knees just swinging the body up. Ah, that's interesting. Ah, good. Okay, good. Okay, good. So you can, yeah, actually this is good. You can do this actually two ways. So if you think about it, you can do the arms this way and you can do the arms this way. That's actually quite an interesting one. So some of you are doing one and some of you are doing the other, so it's actually good. Well, I'll add this to the next one. But in this case, just try this one where the arms are basically going to come across the body like this and then open out this way and then open out this way. So you're kind of opening and closing the body now. And now just start to, come out into the ground. It's like a bird kind of flapping. You come out. And once you feel you've kind of reached the full vertical, just start to come into a kind of swing. The upper body stays vertical, and you're just kind of sinking down. So, and just really try and increase the range of motion in the shoulders. And every time as you raise up, just feel that you create more and more length through the spine. More and more length. That's it. Good. And just until you get to your arms are going to come up to the top. All the way up and then release it. All the way up, release. That's it. Good. So. Good. And then from this point on the top, what I want to do is this exercise we do with the shoulders. So just here. Just do this nice and slow. The weight dropping down and really focusing on the shoulders, really opening to the front and the back. Good. And then going to the other direction. Just change which hand goes to the front. Imagine you're drawing two big circles with both fingers. That's it. So. That's it. That's it. Good. And then we'll work down into the hips. So just first release them. So just working here. Just release the arms. Yes. And in this case, starting to really activate the hips. Really feel that one hip is being prioritized over the other. So one hip is circling into the ground. Good. One hip down. And just start to kind of open this movement out a little bit. It will basically mean, open the movement out. Then you're going to open the movement out to the top and then release it to the ground. So it basically means the arm's going to swing up, swing down. So it's just exaggerating the movement a little bit. And what I'm exaggerating isn't the movement of the arms. It's actually the work of the hips. So it's trying to do more hip work, more compression. So releasing out of the ground. And then coming down. That's it. That's it. And really feel the body kind of sinking into the ground each time. So. And the arms should feel very loose, very heavy. 4. So. And then we'll go to this exercise a bit more contained. Open into the side and then just releasing towards the shoulder. And we're just going to it kind of fluidly. Just reaching the shoulder. And again, just really prioritizing the hip work over the hand work. So. And feel that each time as you find this kind of neutral position, a sense of length through the whole body and then a release. And see if you can maintain that sense of length through the shoulders. There's a tendency in this case to go into these kind of positions and kind of collapse the shoulder forward. So think of the shoulder always kind of open. And basically the lateral line of the body always has a sense of kind of being full and extended. That's it. Yeah, good. Nice. Yeah. So. Good. And then we'll just go down to the knees. So this swing where you're just going to drop down. And now the focus is really in the knees, just letting the arms swing down and letting the hips basically fall into the knees. And then the knees basically fall into the feet. So just focusing on this line of the body. You feel both lines of the body, both sides of the body, drop at the same time, and they kind of have an equal feeling. So you want this, the center of your mat just to fall between the feet, right in the middle. That's good. That's it. Yes. Okay, nice. Yeah, good. Okay. There's a little bit two ways of there's lots of ways to do this exercise. Well, I'll show you. There's basically three ways. There's the way most of you are doing it, and it's the way I always kind of show it. It's basically where you keep a sense of extension through the spine, and this relates to me much more to the kind of sword work. The other way, try and avoid this one, is basically where the arms just do it, where the body drops a little bit, but the arms are basically doing. This is okay, like calisthenically to kind of warm the body, but in a sense, try and get the sense that the whole body's going to do. So in order to kind of get that feeling, just slightly go to this kind of way of doing it, where you're just going to really drop everything down, and then you can kind of spring up. So it's really to exaggerate this downwards movement, and you're basically going to come now as you drop. The whole upper body is going to drop down into this position, and the arms you'll find will just kind of swing back. And then gather them up this way. So it's a much more dynamic range. I don't tend to do it like this because it's a little bit too much, but just to get a feel for it, really get a sense of this kind of big dynamic swing. Just try a few like this. You don't want to do too many like this. You're basically on all the blood rushes to the top of the head. Nice to wake you up, but might make you a bit dizzy. Yeah, that's it. You'll also find an extra kind of swing into the back of the shoulders, into the shoulder blades, which is kind of nice to open this area up. That's it. Yeah, good. Nice. Good. And then, good. So you've got this kind of full dynamic. Now just start to basically keep the extension in the body, and just come to this kind of way where basically, what I do with this one is keep the eyes focused. Maybe 6 feet in front, and my eyes just kind of soften towards the ground. So just have the sense that I keep that point. So just find a point in the ground, just in front of you, and just keep the guys kind of soft. And just have a sense of keeping the extension. So you've got the same coordination. Body drops into the knees, into the feet. But I keep a sense of extension through the spine, length through the spine, if that's okay. I find a length. That's it. Yeah, very nice. Good. That's it. Great. Good. Serena's really smiling, so she's happy. Super. Good. Okay, good. Very nice. Good. Okay, so we're just going to work the feet a little bit. So just work by basically, what I want you to do is just kind of roll the feet into the ground. So just work with these kind of balance boards you have with a kind of ball underneath, and you've got a flat top. Imagine you're kind of balanced on a ball like this. So just feel the weight of the body just kind of circling through. And what I'm trying to do here is just kind of work all the areas of the foot. So you can work, this is easier if you kind of pull the toes up. Just feel that you can kind of circle a little bit. You can do this kind of together, so the feet kind of do the same thing. Or you can also just play a little bit with just opening the movement out. Just working the feet a little bit. You've got a lot of range of motion even in this very small movement. Okay, and then just start to rock the feet side to side, so you're really working the blades, the feet, inside and outside. Good. And then once just go to the toes. So just pull up onto the toes. Pull up. Just feel the weight of the body here, and then just sink back into the ground again. Just into the heels. Just coming all the way up, sinking back. And see if you, as you sink back, you basically place all the weight into the heel and try and see if you can lift all the foot up. So you raise up onto the toes, sink back, and raise up onto the heels. Into the heels. And I'm a bit stiff when I'm doing this, so hopefully you're a bit more flexible. There. And there. There you go. Good. Okay, just sinking the weight into one leg. Really working the ankle one side. Also, really trying, in this case, just involve the hip in the move, so you're really kind of free and opening the hip. And really mobilizing the foot. Good. Just off the ground, just circles with the foot. Right. And both directions. And then just swinging the foot forward. Just a little bit. Imagine that the knee joint just kind of releases. Just kind of release and back. Good. And then just start to kind of swing from the hip. A little bit like a kind of football kick. Like you're kicking a ball. Yeah. But try and, in this case, really try and release through the hip. So, that's it. So the knee should, the leg should feel very, very, very heavy. Wow. Good. And then just to the side. Open the hip to the side. That side. Good. Just one more. There. And now what I want you to do is roll the leg. Roll the knee up all the way to the back. This way. So just do a few like this to really loosen the hip off. And then what I want you to do now is, if you can, find this position out to the side, and then see if you can add an extra where the hip comes back or the foot comes back. Basically really open the hip out this way. Take the foot back and then roll it like this way. So it's up, out, back, and then through. Up, out, back, through. Also good for the balance. Good for the hip, good for the balance. So, and see if you can make it fluid. There you go. Good. And then we get to the other side, so just place the weight in the foot. Onto the ankle. Move it in both directions. Good. The ground is working with circles. Both ways. That way. Okay, just loosening onto the front. Just as you kind of release the knee. Good. And then just keeping the weight in the leg, swinging back. Let the hip release. Dropping the weight down into the other foot. So, one hit up. Yeah, if you need, use a wall or something to balance on. You can use this like this. This actually helps. You can have maximum range. Or yeah, you can use a jump like this. Good. Actually, that's a good idea. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Good. This is why I teach. Some people have better ideas than me. So, yeah, you can just open it out. Okay, good. And then the last one, rolling out to the side. Just rolling through the hip. That's it. Roll through the hip. And then see if you can just open this through now. So you go up, out, and then the foot rolls to the back. So it's like you're doing a bit like a back kick. Oh. And then once you've done a few, just see if you can make it all together. There we go. Super. Okay, just keep it at the side. We'll go through some if you've got a jump. Just to loosen the body up. Yeah. Oh, Just let the weight sink into the back of the body. Sink the weight much more into the back of the heel than the front of the foot. Let the arms sink. Create a sense of width through the body, length through the spine. And just start to slow the movement. Slow. Good. Okay, we'll go to Joe. So just take the Joe. I've got one. Great. Good. So do a little bit of a kind of revision of what we did yesterday. So just roll in through the Joe this way. And again, working specifically within the area of the forearm. Just play a little bit one side. Keep the elbow nice and heavy. And in this case, trying to find the arms basically, the hand and the jaw basically in one position. So you're just working on a kind of rotation movement. And what that basically means is I can start to really release through the shoulder. The main thing I want to avoid in this case is the shoulder starting to kind of rotate out of the structure. So just feel the shoulder softens. And you might find it interesting also just to feel the shoulder and basically use the hand to just touch and feel what's actually happening in the shoulder. You feel relatively loose. And changing sides. And again, you can just play with the other hand, just use it as a brace in the front. And just kind of explore the joints. So. Good. Good. And then just passing between the hands. And again, just trying to sink the shoulder down. All the structure, feel that it's just draining down. That's it. Good. Yeah, see if you can avoid, in this case, this kind of movement. I'm just slightly exaggerating it, but just watch for this kind of swing. In this case, really feel the center goes, boom, drops down like a big stone, and then I just kind of mobilize through the joints. But feel that basically the center is not really affected by the gel. Which is different. It's not the same as kind of filling the body with tension and doing that arm. It's just dropping the body down, and the center will only move as much as it feels it needs to. Just watch for these kind of moves. Dun, dun, dun. That's it. That's it. Good, good, good. That's it. So, yeah, good. Okay, now you're just going to bring the backhand into it. So the backhand's now just going to basically feed through. You're going to change and you're going to come this way. Keep the same sense of kind of freedom through the arms. Basically the one hand in the middle, or you can even go a little bit beyond the center, but just feel where you feel the jaws kind of balance. I can also in the end position play this a little bit. I can keep both hands very free. So both of the grips can also be very loose. I'm just looking at really the balance of the jaw and kind of trying to feel it grounding in the body. So you should roll it over and just find that position. You can work with the center of the jaw. We can work with just a little bit off center, a little bit how we would use it in a kind of ski command. Just explore the feel of the gel. So the weight will feel totally different if I'm using the center or if I'm using the front. Also play a little bit so you get a feel for this, where the jaw's really out of balance, where I'm basically in a too short grip, and then I'm basically working this. And then I feel the jaw constantly is doing this kind of movement. And sometimes we use the jaw like this, so it's actually interesting to work with it, where it's really weighted towards the front. Just play a little bit. So. Okay, just add a little bit more movement. This is basically where we come to this movement. This way, just slightly now. I'm going to slightly open this move out. So now I'm going to do like this. So feel that the back of the jaw, the back end of the jaw is going to make a kind of figure of 8 loop. It's a kind of loose version of these movements we make when we do hasa, these kind of moves. But just play a little bit with the feeling of the body rolling through the jaw. Roll through that. So it's a bit more of an active movement. And just play with also the grip. So you can just come into one hand. You can just use both. Really have a sense of working down the jaw. You're kind of feeding through it. Feeding the jaw through the hands. Just play a little bit with that. Let's see. Nice. Nice. Okay, good. Yeah, and then this point now about the body. So when you do this one, try and avoid the body basically rocking, and basically have the body centered down. Now, as you do this one, what the movement itself is asking for the hips and all the body to be involved in it. So now really allow the whole body to be involved in the movement, which is different from, again, throwing the body out, but also it really feels different from the body being now tense and the arms just doing it. So really feel free to allow the whole body to create the movement. So it means the whole spine, all of the body's basically involved. So it's much more kind of an active move now. So just play a little bit with it. You're basically going to let the whole body create the movement. Let's see. Dong again, good. That's it. Good move, if you can see. Ah, good. Nice, nice, nice. Awesome. Good. Good. Well, there we go. Good. The light's still there. Good. Good. So now just really watch out for your space depending on where you are. Start to open this out now into a kind of vertical move. So you're going to start to kind of let the jaw come above the head. So this is now really opening the movement out. So just kind of work into it. You've got these kind of moves. You've got this kind of move. And really now just involve the whole body. Just start to feel that you can roll the jaw up through this kind of vertical line of the body. Try and really feel the moment when the jaw's kind of passing through the whole structure. So it's basically the balance of the jaw. It's basically lined up with the vertical quality of the body. And then you just come out of it. So really start to kind of roll, move through the body now. And this is basically an opened out version of this movement that we make. So you can use that as a kind of base, but just kind of feel free. Just to play a little bit with the grip, maybe just coming into one hand, really rolling through the movement. And really allowing the balance of the jaw to really be anchored into the body. Just play a little bit with it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, and if you've got the space and you've got the height above you, or you've just got the sky above you, Bernie, really try and exaggerate this kind of upwards move. So it's really, in a sense, I'm going to kind of really, as if I'm making space above the head. So in a sense, I can do this by this kind of way where it feels kind of close to the head. But if I can allow, I'm going to start to really roll the jaw up. So feel that it's kind of spiraling a little bit like it's out of control, but try and kind of contain it in the body. That's it. Good, 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 good. Looks good, everyone. Good. Crossing the grip, good one. So, yeah, yes. Nice, nice. Just watch you a little bit. Nice. Nice. Nice, Isabel. Cool. Good, good, good. Great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very nice. Good. And now really start to, well, you're going to open it out now into the back. So you're going to start to roll the jaw through the back. And this is pretty much where we come into kind of a freestyle. So just roll through these kind of positions. And also in this case, really play with the idea of these kind of movements where you're rolling through the grip. So you're basically using movements, these kind of movements. So just play a little bit with slightly different positions of the hands, rolling up, rolling through the back, and just play. And just really enjoy the connection with the jaw. That's it. Just feel you're opening the movement out into every direction. Front, back, up, down, left, right. Very nice. So, very nice, very nice. Right. Great. Good. Okay, we're just going into ski work, but just straight into a Zengo front and back. So you're going to now start on the left side, thrust to the front, roll over to the back, and then thrust forward this way. And each time just roll to the back, thrust, roll to the back, thrust, roll, thrust, roll. Good. Nice. Nice. Okay. And in this case, just a kind of image. There's a kind of bit of story with the Dojo that it's really a kind of amalgam of different weapons, bayonet, spear, naginata, all these kind of weapons. So just at the moment, just feel that you've got a kind of lance, you've got a kind of spear with a point to it, and really think in this case of you're moving through emotion, but really with the sense of the tip going kind of entering into something. So just think in terms of this, kind of spearing through something, roll to the back, and then really get a sense that you spear through something. We've got this target setup. I'm doing a kind of light Martialarts stuff, but the feelings to enter through and kind of enter into something. So really feel what's happening with the body is a sense of sharpness. You've got a kind of wedge at the back, and then you're entering into a circle. So everything's pointing towards the tip of the jaw. So just have the sense that you're actually using a kind of spear. Just that kind of feeling. So the feeling's like really spearing through something. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Good. Just like that. Just like that. Yeah. That's it. Okay, just look at this pic. John sent me this picture from yesterday that he showed from the workshop yesterday. I just want you to look at the legs. I was looking at this yesterday. So he's obviously got this length through the body, through the arms, but look at the legs. They're totally grounded, and the hips are really kind of placed right down into the ground. So for me, I was looking at this and I was thinking, This is really, this is really similar to the kind of Joe work. So hopefully you can see me now. Just in this case, think about as you go forward. I've got to, also the challenge for this is because everything's coming forward, the tendency is to lose the back leg and basically be trapped in this kind of position. If you, I'll send the photo out to the group and everyone, but just have the sense, what you can see in that picture is the balance in the hips. So that the hips are basically out. So it's a little bit like you're kind of sitting on a ball or sitting on a bridge, and the legs basically form a kind of bridge where the hips are kind of rolling down straight into the feet. So just focus now as you come through. Focus on this kind of, it's basically like an internal bridge through the structure. Now I can do this kind of externally and feel that I hold the legs in tension, but just feel that you can weight the body down, center through the mass, and then just kind of extend out. So just take a moment. Every time you find a ski, just, here I'm weighted towards the front, so just see if you can find the balance in the back. So a little bit more emphasis on the back hip. And that picture is a really great kind of reference for that kind of idea. That's it. That's it. Yeah, good. And this is the beauty of the weapon work, because they're challenging that ability. Everything's weighted in the front. So it's trying to really use the weapon as a kind of feedback on how much I can ground the body, how much I can release through the hips. Yeah, very nice. Great. Good. And then the last few, just take your attention to both directions. So you've got, in a sense, you've got to kind of split the extension out, this sense of kind of spearing forward, and match it with a feeling of opening and grounding the hips. So it's this kind of, in a way, in the Japanese would call it kind of heaven and earth. In a sense, it's kind of the outside external and the internal down to the ground. So just see if you can basically match these kind of qualities. So the down and out, down and out. And down's the priority, but I don't want to have no out. I don't want to have down and no out. I want to be down and out. Wow. Down and out in Paris. There's a book now. Down and out. Dong. Dong. So really try and match the up and the down, or the down and the out. Down and out. That's it. Yeah, good. So. Yeah, good, interesting. Yeah, it's something interesting always happens. It always happens to me as well, so I can kind of recognize it when I see it with people. So one of the things is I go from a position and then I think about the extension or the grounding, and I do it in the active part. Yeah. So I only really do it in the active part, in the kind of the end of it, but really feel that extension and grounding are there all the time. So think that the ground's always there, and I'm always grounding. So think about these kind of qualities, the extension too. What I basically don't do is leave the extension and then bring it on, but think that the extension, the grounding, it's always there. So just have the sense all the time, extension, grounding. It's always a kind of active part of the movement. Never really goes away. Just keep it on. It's like it's switched on all the time. The ground and the extension. Just the last few. That's it. Good, and then just go to this nice simple combination we do quite a lot. So through and then roll to the back this way. And then from here, coiling over this way. So it goes right to the front. And then everything, all the power in the movement's now going to be generated from the front foot and the back hand. roll to the back, and coil it over this way. So again, just think about the extension to the ground. All the time, grounding the movement. One. That's it. Front, back. That's it. That's it. Good. Yeah, and in this one, just take a few moments, going back to that kind of this photograph that John gave, where the hips are basically really grounding out. The tendency in the back move is to kind of lose that in the hip, to be more kind of loaded into the back. It's kind of natural because the movement's all happening in the rear of the body, but just see if you can really, again, match it with the front. In this case, it's the front of the body. We'd normally call it the back, this way. But in this case, it's the front side of the body. And really get a sense that from the hips, there's a sense of really grounding the front hip. So you've really got a sense of the hips grounding out. Just avoid being a little bit towards the back. Also loading towards the front, I don't want to. I just want to let the body sink down right into the middle of the posture. So again, just goes back to this feeling of finding the middle of the posture. So each time, just think about this middle. And it usually means prioritizing for a while one of the sides, because we tend to be loaded in one side rather than the other. Good. That's it. Yeah, very nice. So, back. Good. Nice. Yeah, good. Nice. And this is a good one, especially if it's cold, where you're gonna now blend it together. So you're gonna go now, so to the back, and then just pause at the command, and then you go again. You go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You're basically gonna now just focus now on the compressions with the feet. So you compress into the front, through the back, and then roll out to the back this way. So in this case, just really focusing on the compressions. So you go front, back, roll to the middle. Front, back, roll to the middle. This way. Just give it a try. So. Yeah, and even though it's fluid, try and keep this nice and slow. So keep the pace quite slow. And again, you're looking at this quality of calmness. I talked a bit about yesterday. Look for this sense of calmness through the whole body. Even though you're doing something really active, very dynamic, look for really a quality of calmness. That's it. So. That's nice. Okay, good. So we'll look a little bit at 11 and maybe 12. We didn't get time to do. If you're in a really short space, I recommend getting a shorter stick. I'm using a really shorter stick. If you've not got a short stick now, use a bottom, so it's slightly shorter. So in this case, just working on number 11, like we did yesterday. Start with a nice grounding position. You're going to roll to the back, really find the extension out to the side of the body, but really again grounding in the hips, And then nice and slow, watching for light fitting. Coil the body forward and just come up to the top this way. And then just roll the body back towards the ground. So just nice, big, clear moves. 1, 2, 3. Just coming back into Kamae this way. Just give it a try. So number 11, Katate Gerangaishi. One-handed low, revolving, returning movement. Katate Gerangaishi. Nice. Ah, nice, nice, nice. Yeah, great.
Michael,
Yeah, sure.
in this backwards direction, you actually load your back feet to spring up or to get the kinetic energy to move forward again.
Yeah, I think in this case, actually, Runa asked a good question yesterday about this, similar to number 3. And I was thinking about this yesterday. Also, this idea of kind of loading the body up this way, and actually, just kind of it's a very similar feeling. So the arms are in a different position, and the hands are in a different kind of position, but it's got the same kind of quality. And again, yeah, this feeling you're talking like really loading the body out. So I want to keep this kind of downwards energy, and then from here as I come forward, trying to keep it. So it's a kind of where it's different from number 3 is the sense in number 3 is the sense of exploding out.
Yeah.
And then coming down. Now in this case, this is a low strikes, and the Joe's coming in a low arc. So I actually want to keep that downwards much more. So it's much more a feeling of down, 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 all the way through that movement. And there's less a feeling from 3 of this kind of springing out and then cutting forward this way. So yeah, just look at that kind of quality, keeping the ground low, 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 and then all the way through that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Good. Good. Same. That's it. Nice. Yeah. Okay, good, Bernie. Now the danger in this is that as I do this move, I release the Joe down, and then the movement does an arc this way, up like a vertical arc. But see in this one, the arcs are kind of diagonal this way. If you watch the tip of the Joe, it doesn't do this, it does this. So I always say this is like a slap, because if you think of a slap, it's basically going to come this way, rather than someone was calling it an uppercut yesterday, but it's not this kind of motion in this case. It's more this kind of motion. So it's like a kind of slapping motion. It comes from here and then it just arcs away from the back. And that strike is really for your coming to the side of the head. Just play a little bit. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Perfect. Good. That's it. Yeah. Very nice. Bomb. Nice. Okay, good. We're going to go to 12. I wanted yesterday to go into 12, but we just didn't get the time to go into. I talked too much. So in this case, again, if you're using a short stick, I'm just going to pretend it's a bit longer. So coming into here, the feeling again is you're going to sink into the front foot, and this time you're going to go into the other direction. So you're going to now go to the left, to your left side, draw to the back of the body, load the body up into the ground, and then from here just release it, nice and slow, coming to the front this way. Just start. Let's show from this direction. Let's sink into the front foot, take the body over to the left side. Find this position. The elbow's very relaxed, but it's also kind of loaded in the same way. And then from here, rolling through the hip, just release the arc forward. Again, just looking for the middle of the posture. Just give it a try. Number 12, katate tomauchi. One-handed, great distance strike, or something like that. One-handed, big distance strike. Long distance, big, long distance strike. One-handed, long distance strike. This is it. One-handed, long distance. Wow. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, okay, good. And this actually, this movement, I really like training because it really reveals one thing. Just watch for, as I release it, I release into the, if I release into the wrist, I basically do this. So I do like this. But in this case, really feel that the arm, the hand connects to the arm, to the elbow. So this whole structure feels like connected. This feels all connected. And then as I find this position, just roll through this way. So there's a feeling of the whole jaw connecting into the arm. I'm basically doing it the same as I would do with a yokomen. If you think, if I was to use the jaw like this would be like you doing a yokomen like this. But in this case, when you do the strike, just feel that this whole joint connects through the jaw this way. So it's not done in the wrist, it's done in the whole, it's done with the whole body. Let's see if you can get that. Means a little bit again, going nice and slow. Just feeling the connection. Very tempting to go fast with this move. It's a really nice move. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. That's it. Nice. There we go. Great. Got it. So. Nice. Okay, good. Yeah, there's a tendency with these moves. Also, I draw a kind of relationship between the Gerangai move. So when we do these kind of moves, this kind of internal spiral through the body, what I want to avoid is with these kind of arc, where the jaw is going to arc away from the body. What I want to avoid is locking the body in with the jaw, and then basically the hips do the same motion as the arms. So I'm basically using the body like this. Now the same happens here if I lock the body in with the hips. The body does this. So the body and the jaw do the same motion. But think in terms of the hips are always going to stay free, and they're not going to be locked by the arms. So they guide the arms, they don't get locked in by them. So what that basically means is, as you go through this movement, really release through the front hip. So I feel this whole side of the body rolls and anchors through this way. Think about a baseball pitcher, or a cricket, no, not cricket, it's different. Baseball pitchers basically doing this kind of thing. Now you've basically got an anchor in this side of the body. So I've got a really strong anchor all the way through this side of the body. And then that basically allows the other side of the body to release through the movement this way. So just play a little bit here, just break the movement down a little bit and come a little bit away from the form and just feel that you release with a very strong anchor. So again, going back to a little bit more of an athletic movement, I'm just looking for where would I generate the power, or where would I allow the structure to go, which is kind of the same thing. But just play a little bit with opening that move out. And you want basically a really strong anchor in the left side of the body in this case. That whole left side is going to really form the ground of the movement. Yeah, there we go. Exactly. John. Yes. You also think about throwing a ball for a dog or something. This kind of quality I do there. So it's got this kind of quality. And these ball throwers, you get these gadgets now with you can throw a ball extra long distance. You put the ball on, and they work like spear chuckers, spear throwers from the primitive time, and you've got basically an extra kind of length through it. But just think in terms of basically the back of this whole back side of the body is very loose, and I just release it. And I do it by anchoring the lower body, the other side of the body. So you've got this, and then around. You've got that kind of quality. But over actually a very quite an awkward position to put the body into, but that's what makes it nice. Yeah, good. So, very nice. That's it. Good. Okay, so we'll just finish with what we did yesterday. So we came from here into this Gedangashi move. This to here, and then what you're going to do is just drop the joke to the bottom this way, roll back into Kamai, and then straight away you're going to come back into now this position. So you're now going to go into this Tomochi and just finish the position here, and then just come back into Kamai. So you go now 1, 2, 3, drop everything down, 4, roll back into the Kamai, 5, above the back of the head, and then 6. So it's a kind of 6 count kata using 11 and 12. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then just coming back. Good. Sing. Nice. Nice. Okay. What? Okay, just try it like this. Some of you are doing this anyway, just because of the space. You're in a kind of very small spaces. So in this case, do this as if you're on the spot. Now, the power of doing things on the spot is that I can really find the anchor for the movement. So just in terms of these moves, come to here, and then really feel which is the anchor for. So in this case, the left side rolls through, and now really feel which is the anchor for the movement. So it's basically switching out to the right side, dropping. And just each time really come to the feeling which anchor I'm using in the ground. And coming through here. So there'll be moments when you completed the strike and you're basically in the middle of the stretcher. And there's moments when you're coming into these preparation movements and swinging through the movement that you're really grounding into one foot. So just this is better than on the spot. So just try it if you can. If you can. Try a little bit on the spot. Just really try and feel which foot the body is compressing into. Nice. Yeah. Good. So. Nice. And last few. Just go to now very kind of fluid motion. So keep it nice and slow. Rolling back through, back, around, and then striking down. So just try and fill the whole movement. Back, through, down, rolling back, striking through. This way. And just play a little bit with it. Especially now focusing on the grounding in the hips. Again, going back to that photo of John's, really hips grounding down. Kind of way. Nice. So. Oh, yeah. So. Good. Okay, good. We'll stop there. I'm going to continue through these kind of 11 and 12, 13 as well, because they're very interesting movements. So we'll look at them in a little bit more detail this week. So, So, come ragazzi, vediamo.
Dai, ragazzi.